Welcome to the SKE podcast. I'm Siobhan Kelleher, and today I'm joined by Kathryn Mayo. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi.
So this is our podcast on the SKE, which is Siobhan Kelleher Education, where we have created courses to do with lifestyle medicine, positive psychology, oral health, and mindset. So, Kathryn, you recently graduated and you've now joined the faculty at SKE. When did you first hear about lifestyle medicine?
Well, I was asked to speak, I think, in a webinar for Oral B, and it was a bit of a deep dive, really, because it's not really my subject, even though I've sort of heard little bits of things. But I was sort of in my surgery doing my thing, a bit me, myself and I, really, and not really looking at the bigger picture, even though I knew, obviously, from reading and from CPD and that kind of thing, a little bits about like systemic health links to perio. So I originally sort of went in a deep dive for that webinar, which was so interesting, really, really interesting. And then obviously I've worked with you on different things, and this was your thing, really. And then sort of hearing little things that you said. And I think it was actually the day that you were actually going to start the courses. I was like, can I join?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I did. But I joined the coaching, lifestyle medicine coaching first, because I thought that would be something that would help me in practice.
Yes.
Which it did. But I think I massively underestimated our ability to be able to sort of engage patients because of that bigger picture, really, that I just didn't have any real understanding of, sort of, conscious, unconscious bias, social inequalities. And I probably just looked at it very, very basically, really. And I didn't have a clue.
So that's interesting, isn't it? Because I remember being in practice, and this is why I created the courses. I was in practice and I knew that there was more, but I just couldn't put my finger on what it was. And then I decided to go back and do the Masters in Personal Management Coaching, because I wanted to really look at goal setting, if you like, and behavior change, which was so helpful. And also the self-development for me personally throughout that. When I came out of the Masters, though, there was still something missing. And then when I read the description for the course in positive health, I was like, this is it. And it was. But unfortunately, in that course, oral health wasn't even mentioned. And that's why I created this course, the Diploma in Oral Positive Health, which is a combination of lifestyle medicine and positive psychology, because I wanted to share this knowledge with my colleagues that there is so much more that we can do. And I think my colleagues, and even you read on forums, and, people are working very hard and there's a lot of scaling going on. But really, and I'm sure you'll agree, we need to sit back more and talk to our patients about what's going on. That it's not just picking up instruments, is it, Kathryn?
No, definitely not. And I think we do all get into that mindset of doing that, and especially when we've got other things going on. I openly admit that through my career, probably, especially when my children were younger, and challenges, from that aspect, that I did just go in, do my job, and I was a bit of a scaling machine, really, working on 20 minutes, no nurse. And it's only when I've been able to afford myself a little bit more time that I've sort of realised that I can't be that person, and that definitely there is more to it, and it has massively opened my eyes. And I think for me, it's all around the engagement side of it. And with all the development I've done within the course, it does also still bring me back to engagement, because I've got so much more to say to the patient. So if they sort of shutting me off in one avenue that I would go down, I've got more to say in terms of, okay, so what about this? Did you know this? Would this be something that you're interested in? And it's helped me in my clinical practice, and also from personally developed me. And I suppose the thing that I've taken most from it would be that personal development, really, that I'm better at my job, but I'm also I'm able to implement things to make me healthier. And I was sort of primed for it anyway. I am that 50-something person who needs to be strong and healthy, and not so worried about what the scales say.
Yes. So if we look at the pillars of lifestyle medicine, and we have nutrition, exercise, stress, social connection, substance abuse. Which one did I miss? Which one of the pillars would you say you've really kind of implemented really in your life in the last year?
I think.
Do not think of it that way.
No, I do. No, I do. I suppose it's more that I had little bits of knowledge about certain things. So I come from a family of really strong exercise and sports backgrounds. So I did quite competitive sport when I was younger. So I sort of know quite a lot about sort of strength and like power to weight ratio and the importance of sort of resistance and strength training. And I know a little bit about nutrition, not anything in depth at all, but certainly, sort of proteins and that kind of thing, and carbohydrates and what it does to your blood sugar and so forth. Again, from that sort of playing quite competitive sports. So I think that those were the two that I had sort of the most idea about, but then sleep's always been a massive issue for me, and I am still working on it now. But I mean, even in the last week, I've started to journal, which is something I would never have ever thought about doing. But I did journal throughout the course. So I did, every time we had a lecture or a presentation, I'd just at the end write where I felt I was, what I felt I needed to look at and work on. But sort of just doing that journaling before bed. Definitely when I do wake up, because I still do wake up, I'm still definitely awake, but I'm not thinking about those things that maybe I would have been, because they're all written down.
Okay.
So I'd already done that.
Interesting.
That sort of out. Yeah, so I don't think there's like one thing specifically. I suppose the thing that I am doing the most is exercising. And I think I've had like a few life challenges, especially sort of as the course was coming to a close. And I felt like I was primed to know what to do when those sort of stresses hit me. I was like, right, I know exactly how I'm going to make this sort of as healthy as I possibly can. And sort of the exercise side of things has definitely mentally helped me to the challenges that have been put in front of me. So no, there's not one thing I would say.
Okay. Yeah. And then alongside that, if we look at positive psychology and maybe having a look at mindset, what do you think the mindset, like setting, in dentistry, we're a little bit like we're fixers, aren't we? Instead of, what do you think about this idea of drawing on strengths, on goals for patients rather than the tell and do?
Yeah, I'd say I am I'm a fixer in nature, but I come from a family of very positive, like my parents very positive. It's, there's always an answer in a sense. But with patients, I think I'd gotten to the point of the strategy of sort of building blocks of goal setting myself, just by trial and error, really, knowing that me saying to a patient, you need to do this is not going to work. They've got to be on board, and they've got to understand that it comes from them. and me telling them what to do is not going to come from them. So I'd sort of already got there. But one of the massively striking things I think that I found, especially when I first started doing the coaching, was I am very much sort of, I don't like silence, maybe. And I don't like the waiting for somebody to answer. So I want to fill in the gaps.
Okay.
And the listening aspect of coaching was a massive wake up call to me to shut up and let my patients speak. And in personal lives, as well, you know, personal life. Let somebody speak.
Yeah, it's a very important space, that, isn't it? Because if somebody's talking at you, sometimes we find it quite hard to think. Where if you're actually left to sit with it for a couple of minutes and to let that person in front of you even kind of just soundboard something out without having a reply, it can be very productive, can't it?
Yeah, I do, like I say, I find it a little uncomfortable. You do it to me sometimes, though. I always go, no, don't be doing your coaching approach on me. I do, yeah, I do see that you know, my sort of, you know, I think it was Emma or possibly you that said to watch this sort of particular bit of YouTube. I don't know if it was a TED talk or something.
Yes.
And it was about basically giving advice, and that we all have this, in a sense, advice monster, in inverted commas. And that for me was just, I was laughing at myself all the way through it, really, because I just thought, oh my gosh, that's me. It's just me, you know. But in a way that is an eye opener. It's a real eye opener that, you know, for me, I think, yeah, I have made my mind up what I'm going to say before that person's even spoken, you know, and that has been a massive learning curve to sort of actually, is that the real issue? The first thing that somebody says?
Yeah.
Because it's not normally. But I just have been, you know, I'd have been formulating what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it before they've even finished. You know, so yeah, that was, yeah, the positive side of that, I think, has been brilliant for me. And I've used it in all situations. But my daughter was doing GCSEs as I was doing the course.
Right.
And I'd read some growth mindset books, and I'd listened to audio books, and I think I listened to Carol Dweck.
Yeah.
And that growth mindset. So I was approaching my daughter with slightly different phrasings. Yes. She was looking at me as I was saying, what?
Yeah, it's interesting the not yet, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Which I think we do. We probably do that with our patients, but it's just understanding the psychology behind what you're doing. I think it's kind of a clearer structure in your head, isn't it?
Yeah, and I definitely didn't. Although I probably made connections just by trial and error, there wasn't a definite format. And when I'd sort of hit a brick wall, there's nowhere else to go. You know, rather, I sort of got the idea of breaking things down a little bit for patients and that kind of thing, but certainly not in the way that I've sort of learned from in terms of doing the course. So it's been a huge personal growth situation for me, definitely.
That's lovely to hear, because that's what it was about. It was about doing something different.
Was that what it was about for you? Is that what
To be honest, at the outset, I wanted to share the knowledge, but actually what's happened is way beyond what I ever could have imagined. Because, you know, what I hear back is I have a different confidence. My life's changed because of, you know, some of the things that you've said there. And there's just a real little community around it, isn't there? That there's an understanding, there's a kind of a calmness around it as well. There's some fabulous personalities that's there, and we're all still in touch. And it's been really fantastic to sit back and watch what people have done with it. And I know Kate and Lisa are going to come on, and they've come up with Perio Life Align, where they've completely incorporated lifestyle medicine and positive psychology into their practice. And they're doing the research and gathering more data. So they didn't stop. They implemented it, and now they're still doing the research. Like, that to me is incredible. Like, it's so exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, I think because Kate was on your first year, wasn't she? So
Yes,
I'm like the second cohort, and she was the first. And obviously, I knew them a little bit because I'd taught the implant on the first year. But it's great how there's not like, oh, you're the first year, you're the second year, you're this. We just all sort of get on and sort of interact. And like you say, there's a camaraderie there, I suppose, of sort of, we've done this and we want to know more. And there's just so much to know.
definitely.
And yeah, I suppose that the positivity, the supporting people, because we all have strengths. So, I've obviously presented before, as have you, but Kate and Lisa, they're a little bit newer to that. So they've been doing all of this research, and, I'd said to them, look, if you need any help with the actual presentation side of it, or, and I'd said it to a couple of the others as well, because obviously I've done that. And they, obviously, I learned things from them. They learned things from me. So it's that kind of thing.
We're a dab hand now at the Canva presentations, Kathryn.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, by trial and error.
By trial and error. And, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, he talks about being in your flow. And one of the things that I think would be great research is that if we looked at appointment lengths and if we were able to really treat patients how we envisage the treatment to go. Like, if I think back to one of my happiest times was when I was in London, and I was in a surgery overlooking the Limehouse Marina. It was just beautiful. But they gave me an hour for the patients. So I was able to get everything into that hour. And if I look back, I think at that time, it was my most time that I was in my flow. And when you're in your flow, you're really at your deepest sense to yourself, doing, what you love doing, and the time passes by so quickly. I really would like to see some research with you, Kathryn, on that, on appointment lengths and how people are working. And tying into that, if you think about Martin Seligman, when he first started out looking at positive psychology, and he said, well, we're spending all the money here looking, the research's gone into mental health. But over here, what are the happy people doing?
Yeah.
We could tie that in, because if this model can work with these type of appointments, then we could help the people out over here. What would you think? Do you think it'd be a good area of research? So anybody out there who wants to do some research,
please. I think, definitely. I mean, I noticed a difference. I work in 2 different settings, or I did up until a few weeks ago. And I noticed that the patients that I see in one of the settings, where I have 45 minutes to an hour for an initial consultation, they tend to engage much quicker. The other practice is still great, and I have half an hour, and I work for a really good principal who will let me just do an initial consultation and no treatment if I think it's necessary. So I do have that, but I do still think that the ones that I've got that length of time just to really talk, and it's obviously normally about implants, and now obviously I'm incorporating the primordial side of things. So we don't identify any risk factors as it stands, but this is how we would hope to go forward and not develop any risk factors. So looking at the pillars of lifestyle medicine in that respect, and especially with implant patients, those patients are probably the patients who are going to be a little bit more susceptible, because why are they in our chair in the first place? So looking at the sleep and it's only like, a quick conversation really, and touching on things just asking them about the family and the social connections, and a guy I saw recently who's retired, and are they actually getting that social interaction that they need to be sort of mentally stimulated? So I definitely think that the research would be great to know whether actual appointment length may be a bit of a loss leader, so less appointments because they engage quicker.
Yeah.
And are they going to take away things that may help them to manage their general health as well as their oral health? So certainly could be an area.
So do I feel a master's or a PhD coming on, Kathryn?
I feel like you need to stop telling me to do courses. That's what you need to do.
Kathryn, thank you very much.
Do you have a PhD for you?
Definitely in a couple of years. I'm just going to have a little break at the moment. Yeah, a couple of years for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And I need to yeah.
You never know.
Need to consider what I really want to research as well. I definitely like the idea of lifestyle medicine in dental practice, so that's probably something I would look at.
Has it been covered before?
No, this is all still relatively new. And, as we know with the World Health Organization, they're calling on governments are calling on us for the every contact counts. And it's for the first time, it's dental hygienists, therapists, technicians, dental nurses and the team. It's not dentists or consultants. And they want to tap into us to talk to our patients with these each contacts to prevent non-communicable diseases, because by the year 2030, it's estimated to cost about 43 trillion. And you and I, Kathryn, know there isn't the healthcare professionals to cover. There's not enough trained. And then, of course, the governments don't really have the money. So they're calling on us at the moment, and it's kind of watch this space. And, oral diseases really need to be brought in under the 6x6 framework, and we'll go through that maybe in another podcast.
Yeah.
But please, would you sign up to us, keep in touch with us? What topics would you like to see? We're definitely going to cover the pillars of lifestyle medicine, positive psychology, mindset. Each one of those need their own podcast, really, don't they, Kathryn?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And if you're interested in the courses, visit SiobhanKelleher.com to the website, and I'll leave Kathryn at my bio in the notes below and the website. And stay healthy, and we'll be in touch with you soon. Bye now. Thanks, Kathryn.
No problem. Bye.